All right, hey guys, what's going on? Hey, I got to tell you, this here podcast is going to piss a lot of authors off. It's going to piss a lot of self-help people off because it's really as simple as I'm getting ready to explain to you. It's really not a lot of work changing your life. It's a practical. It's almost like a light switch. So, yeah. No. Let me get into this now. So when I say that, it's actually true. That is what it is. It's a light switch. You flip it on or you flip it off. Now, if you flip the light switch on, that means that you are taking action or you are doing something or adding something to your life. And if you flip the switch off, that is, you take something away from your life. On, off. You can work both sides of that switch until you die. Now, all these books, all these hours of podcasts and literature have been written about this whole concept of success and self-growth and self-value and improvement. But what it comes down to is it comes down to stop and start. It's an on and off proposition. I don't care where you are right now. I don't care where you are in your life at this point, because that's not really what's relevant. That box you've created, the only reason that box exists is to give you something to escape. Did you get that? To get some, it creates the boundary from your life. And as a person, when you're living your best life, what you're doing is you're trying to punch holes in that wall, in that thing that everyone else is doing that looks so much like everyone else's. You know, it's funny. This weekend, I've started working out again. I don't know if you can tell if you're watching this on YouTube. I'm starting to get some muscle back on. I got really good muscle memory. Apparently, it doesn't take long for me to muscle up, but I'm out there and I'm doing my workout, and it's ironic that people actually look at me peculiar like. But what most of the people around me don't realize is this is my life. The big weekend, everybody comes in, brings the kids, the cars, the boat, the dogs, the toys, all the noise, everything that they're doing. This is their big hoorah before snow flies, before they have to grind back down for another 6 months or so till Christmas. Got to get ready for Christmas. Got to save some money back up or get the credit card paid down, right? I'm doing exactly the same thing everyone around me is doing, except I get to do it every day. This is an amazing spot. We're right on the Grand River, and I've heard some conflicting stories about the Grand River as far as how clean it is to swim and stuff in, but it's still a beautiful place. It's still a beautiful place to kayak and a wonderful place to stay, and it's an amazing place to live. And what's cool about it is that I can do it any place in the United States I want it. Anywhere, in any place in the country I want to do that. And the way I managed to do that was I stopped doing things that prevented that. That's the one side of that coin. The other side of the coin is, what could I start doing? Well, I started this daily interaction with you, this daily conversation where we sit down and we talk about what I think might be relevant to you. And I realize not everything I'm going to say is going to like ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Oh man, he's so smart. No. Because we're all in different places when it comes to it. We're all in a different place in our life. So let's look at it from the positive side, from the switches on thing. What can you start doing right now that'll add value to your life? Because that's really what the equation is about. It's about waking up every day knowing that you're going to enact or take an action that is going to give you a positive result for your life, right? That's the ticket. What can that be? Well, most people say, well, I can't really do much because I don't have any money, don't have any time. No, that's where you find the time. You find the money, and that's where that switch on and off works real well, because if you don't have the time, stop doing something you think so damn important. I mean, I love my vehicles. I take really good care of my vehicles in my house. I do. That's just a pride thing with me. But I was going overboard. Instead of cleaning my vehicles every month or twice a month, which is reasonable, I was cleaning them every weekend. And I'm not talking about just washing them. I'm talking about detailing each vehicle out every weekend. If I was trying to do that now, there's no way in hell I'd have time for a podcast. There's no time. I would lose a Saturday every week to cleaning my vehicle. So guess what I did? I stopped doing it. And there's no secret recipe for that. There's no secret recipe for that. The action is stop. If you're an alcoholic, you're battling addiction, or maybe your alcohol is getting in the way of your success and your ability to achieve your goals, it isn't about, well, we need to meditate, we need to talk, we need to go through the steps. The only step that matters is what you stop doing. If you stop drinking, if you never put that alcohol to your lips again, You've done it. That's the secret. Same thing with all the other stuff. If you want to be better at something, if you want to engage in something that you value, but you just haven't been able to find the time, the ticket is to just start doing it. You're going to have to grow some calluses. I mentioned that in the previous podcast, or one coming up. I'm not sure where it's at, but I mentioned the need for you to grow calluses towards the life you live. And I mentioned the fact that I was a concrete guy. I'd never done concrete before. I was 19 years old. And when I first started, I never imagined I'd ever be strong enough to be comfortable moving concrete and working with concrete. Well, in 2 weeks, I was just like, okay, this is what we do. And in a month and 2 years, I didn't even think about it. I just grabbed that shovel and did what needed to be done and grabbed those tools. It was dirty, greasy, oily work, but someone had to do it, right? Yeah, I was doing what I needed to do. It's an action. It's an action thing. If you're struggling with your relationship, because relationships are where the foundation of an amazing life begins. If you're in a relationship, if your relationship isn't starting to see growth, your life will never see growth. I mean, you'll have benchmarks and there'll be things you do, but to actually achieve the true potential of your life together, you have to start with each other. You can't have strife. And there's going to be times, no matter how long you've been together or how hard you work at it, when you're going to have bumps. Things are going to happen. Old things are going to show back up, or old habits, and you're going to be back in to that same place where you were before. But if it makes her cry, are you listening, guys? Hey, talking to you. If it makes her cry, or makes her frown, or makes her shrink, as Brené Brown says, causes her to shrink away from you in shame, stop doing it. Stop doing that. And on the other side of that coin, when that happens, that is when you screw up and you come at her the way you always do, because it's your habit, it's what you do, right? Turn around and come at her with kindness. Start showing kindness, saying, oh, baby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I promised you I wouldn't. I'm going to work on this. Let me back away from this. Here, let's do this again. How can I help you feel better about this? Because I did what I always do. On, off. Turn it on. What will you do to improve your life? One of the most significant things my wife and I did to improve our relationship was to start walking together. I've said this before and I'll say it and repeat it. I think quality time together, there's no substitute for that. There is no substitute for quality one-on-one time where you have the opportunity to reconnect with the person you love, with that special person, where you get to hear their stories and get to feel who they are. Because that's where amazing relationships come from. They come from time and effort and focus, not on ourselves, but on our partners. I really work hard. I wake up every day and sometimes I miss it, but I've found that, you know what, when my wife is talking, she's the only thing in the room. She's the only one in the room when she's talking. Now, I wasn't always that way, but I am now, because when I'm in that moment, that's the moment. And it's things like that cause you to connect. I mean, the simple idea of playing games or having date night once a week, and it's just you and them, and you and your partner, and both of you with the true intention to just simply try to do your best to make it the best time ever. I mean, I did a podcast. Check it out. It's called Irresistible or something of that nature, but it's back there a ways. But check it out. Are you being irresistible? I mean, just for that moment. Start doing that. Start being opening doors and doing dishes and cleaning up and telling her how beautiful she is and spending time. Say, hey, you want to go to the movies? Well, the movies are out right now because of COVID-19, but you get the point, right? Not a miracle recipe, not a whole bunch of steps involved in this idea of success. Now, do we want it packaged that way? Yeah, sure we do. We want it to look like the ads on TV. We want it to look like the trailers for these movies that are coming out. We want it to be interesting and exciting and cause us to feel something. Life isn't that romantic in real life. You get to see the finished product on that amazing love story where they fall in love, then they fall out of love, then they come back in love, and everything is even better than amazing. Yeah. If you're thinking about anything in your life right now, As I'm sitting here talking to you and you're thinking about anything in your life, ask yourself, what can you stop doing that isn't going to have a major impact on your life that will actually improve it? I'm amazed. I'm in Michigan and I don't buy coffee. Well, I do buy coffee. I buy coffee from the store and then I bring it home and I make it. But what's amazing is we're in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and every Starbucks I drive by has a line of cars around the building. And I'm thinking to myself, does that happen all day long? Can you imagine the kind of money Starbucks is making on coffee? They just keep giving us money, man. Wow. If you're spending $4 a day on coffee, that's $120 a month. $4 a day. If you double that, that's $280. That's crazy. Can you imagine what you could do with that money? And am I criticizing you for loving your coffee? No, I'm not criticizing you for that. I'm criticizing you for the fact that it's keeping you from doing shit you'd love to do, right? It's keeping you from doing things. You're like, yeah, well, okay. Why can't we? Well, we're drinking $400 a month in alcohol. Well, that's why we can't do what we love to do. Stop doing it. Wake up and say, okay, today's the day that I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to stop being that person. I'm going to stop being the way I am. I'm going to say no. It's an on-off proposition. I make it sound easy, don't I? Now, there's another side to this, and we're going to go ahead and talk about it because you're probably not ready for the effort it takes or the struggle it takes. See, when you stop doing things, it scars you up a little bit. It's not easy for you to be busy with all the shit you're already doing in your life and then some guy like me to come along and say, hey, yeah, why don't you try this? Like, oh, yeah, right. Like, I want to do one more thing. I want to add one more struggle to my life. This is where that big-ass story comes in, and I've talked about it before because the foundation for everything you want to change in life, anything you want to achieve in your life, centers around these same principles. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be your personal health or your relationship or your finances or your goals or your dreams. It doesn't matter. The recipe is still the same, right? What I do is I build an amazing story around that thing that I want to achieve. I've said it before, this podcast is an amazing story. I'm talking to millions of people as far as I'm concerned. And that's all it takes. All it takes is finding a story that allows you to be motivated enough to show up every day and do what you do. And that's why I'm here. And this is one of the biggest commitments I've ever made to myself because I'm looking at 365. I want to do 365 podcasts before I ever think about changing directions, before I ever think about, okay, maybe I should switch this up a little, right? Pretty simple. I keep doing it every day. I started doing it every day. Start doing it. Stop doing it. On, off. So what are you going to do? What thing in your life are you ready to change? I'll give you a minute. You can sit there all you want. You can sit there, turn the radio up and think about it. Hum to yourself or whatever you need to do. But the point is, if you're not moving towards breaking a hole in that box, in that wall that surrounds you, that you call your life, and trying to find a new path and a new direction and to grow as an individual, you're not capitalizing on this opportunity. Now, and I'm all for being in the moment, even like right now. The nice part about this is I have learned to be in the moment with you right here, right now. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about what I might tell you that will impart on you the knowledge you need to have to do the things you need to do. Not because I'm asking anything from you or there's an ulterior motive. It's about me getting you to focus on you. It's cool. Wake up energized. But while you're in that moment, when you're in those moments, when you look at where you're going, that's a moment too. When you're strategizing for how you're going to change jobs or how you're going to stop drinking or how you're going to get back in shape and take pride in yourself again and get back to where you want to be, not for any other reason except for it's for you. It's because it's what you want. It's because something you value. And then you build this story around it. I said it. I was out there walking today, and I'm back into working out. I'm cutting some weight, and I'm putting some muscle back on because, let's face it, you look good when you have muscle on. You look good when you're muscled up. You look healthy and strong. And my fear was, I was talking to Sandy yesterday. I said, yeah, I got to work out because, what would happen if some weird, by act of God or whatever, by fate, someone important Says, hey, can we do a story together? Can I interview you? You got all these podcasts, you're doing this crazy stuff. I've listened to you, you've evolved, right? And they want to tell my, can you imagine if I showed up there and I'm all dumpy? Can you imagine if I showed up on stage and people are like, really? He sounds like he's in a lot better shape when he's on the podcast. I'm kind of disappointed. What do you think? Are we really going to stick around for this? When you turn that switch on and off, and you take action towards in a direction, or you take something away from your life, it's really, really important to have a map. It's really, really important to have a defined plan. And in order for you to do that, you've got to create a story around why it's important to you. And what I see mostly, I was out walking among the leaves, and it's fall in Michigan. So right now I walk in the grass every day and the leaves are falling. I was looking at how random the leaves were, and it brought up a thought to me, and that is that the reason that most of us are unable to achieve our big dreams, other than just the cycle of everyday life, is because we have not mapped it out. We have time and money, and those are the two major resources, and we never really say or define, okay, this is where we're going with this. Instead, we are just like one of those automatic vacuum cleaners, and we're just bumping into the walls of our life, and it takes us in this direction and that direction. We may buy a new TV or add something or get rid of a few things and have some activity like barbecuing, but we're really not in the pit of a struggle. We're really not grabbing a hold of something where we're like, yeah. And that's where we need to be. It's not to the point of negating all of our own responsibilities, but the thing about it is life is short, right? Life is short. So the way I see it, I don't know when it's going to end for me, but I'm playing this thing like it's the last 30 seconds of my life when I'm in an MMA fight. The last 30 seconds, I'm like, yeah, I'll do this, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to add this to it, and I'm going to test this, and I'm going to talk about this, and I'm going to work on that. Because the horizon is always there. I don't care what you know, right? That amazes me. I was talking to a friend of mine, Dan Basham, and I said, he tells me about navigation, way signs, and what he learned in the military. I'm like, and I was in awe only because it's something I have no idea about. I know how to read maps, but he's talking about waypoints and mechanical navigation with no GPS. And I'm like, wow, that's impressive. It's all part of that same equation. Flip that switch on something you love to do or you haven't done, but you thought about it. You thought about it, and then just do it. And before you know it, guess what? You're going to be there. Before you know it, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to say, damn, dude, look what we did. Damn, baby, I can't believe it. We are full-timers. We are living. We travel. We got this life. We are debt-free. Wow. That's a cool dream. Anyway, I could go on with this. I just, I keep showing up every day. I'm not going to stop. I'm not giving up on you. I hope you don't give up on me. I really appreciate you guys showing up. I'm loving it. It's starting to grow. People are starting to realize that I'm not really out there just screwing around asking you for stuff. What I'm doing is I show up every day for something that helps me, and that is the idea that at some point someone's going to say, I get it. I got this. I see what he's saying now. And that's fuel for me. That's fuel for me when I get a like on my podcast or on my YouTube channel. And maybe they're sympathy likes. I don't know. Maybe you haven't. I don't watch the analytics a lot because I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because there's a story that needs to be told before I'm gone, and I'm willing to do it. So just keep in mind that every moment is a blessing, and as always, just wake up every day from a platform of kindness with your family, with your friends, with your spouse, and especially with the world. I don't know that there's any room for any more hate in the world, and I think that individually that's where it starts. So until next time, as always, just remember today's your day. Make it a good one.